Balaji Telly is with us. Remember, the case for a chat for getting Nair is that they are looking to raise 200 crores in the digital business for about 20% stake. This is source-based information. They launch OTT platform in Q4 with an investment of 250 crores as well. And actually, the case for a chat is are doing a lot of right things. A lot of their serials are doing extremely well too. So the idea to figure out is what happens over the course of not just the next quarter, but the next few quarters. Nair, Group CEO, is with us in the studios. So I think, Samir, good morning, of course.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining in. Fill us in on this whole fundraising news.
The fundraising news, actually, I think we sent a release out yesterday. So we are raising 150 crores, actually, not 200.
Okay.
And I think this is being done, our bankers have done it, Access Cap. And this is being done via a preferential route for about 14% stake in Balaji at a premium of about 28% on the current price of the 52-week average. This is primarily for our OTT business, which will launch in the end of the first quarter of next year, by June.
Give us some flavor there.
Well, it's an OTT SVOD platform, over-the-top subscriber video on demand. We aspire to be like the Netflix of India. We are creating original content for it. So it's not an aggregated content play. It's an original premium content play. So we are creating a whole bunch of new shows and,
So it'll be only Balaji content?
Well, when you say only Balaji content, it will be that it will be content created by Balaji for this platform. And when we say by Balaji, it will be driven by us and often produced by other producers as well for us.
For a company which is cash rich, why do you need to raise capital? You have cash on your balance sheet. Why don't you use that?
Well, actually, we have different uses for cash, so it's just a question of resource allocation. So there's a certain amount of capital being allocated towards the movie business, certain towards running our TV business, certain towards the digital business, and then raising for the digital business. So it's really that.
Why not use the existing cash first and then raise more cash after that?
Well, actually, it's also a question of timing. We are currently, we are getting ready to launch our OTT platform. A lot of currently the money is tied up with the movie business, which will get unlocked next year. So we are raising now, and then, which is why we are not doing the 200 and just doing a 150, because that's sort of...
What does this set the valuation for the digital business?
Well, it doesn't set the valuation for the digital business. We haven't done that at this stage. It's just, building the business first. We'll do that at the next level.
So let's talk about content. Tell us what all is in the pipeline, what new movies, what new shows.
Actually, just before we get to that, just one thing. This content that you're developing for the OTT, I reckon it is largely urban content and will exclusively be available on that platform?
Yes, largely urban content, exclusively available on the platform, IP owned by us, not available anywhere else. And
what are the projections there? I mean, any kind of revenue projections that you have for that business?
For that business, we are hoping to get to about 4 million paying subscribers by 2020.
That's a long shot. What
about it's a long shot. It's a really good business.
But nothing in the near term that you have a projection on?
Near term, I mean, we launch and we build from there and go. So, I mean,
But again, it's only content which has something to do with Balaji, either financed or produced.
Well, when you say
what I'm saying is it's not a library.
No,
like
not
Netflix.
A library. I mean, we are not going to see. Actually, the thing is that for Netflix and the whole US model, the library has considerable value. What happens in India is that if you take the movie libraries, they are pretty much non-exclusive. So, like our movies are on Netflix. They will also be on our platform Alt. And with TV libraries, we don't really have shows like seasons. So, like would you want to see the first 100 episodes of Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi? Probably not. Maybe if you do, you could still see it. So I don't think it's about library, it's about creating new original content. It's like when you go to a DVD store, you don't ask him how many DVDs he has in the store, you ask him what's new. And then tend to pay and buy that. So it's that sort of reminder.
Since you want to be the Netflix of India, I can assume that you will not tie up with Netflix.
It's nothing like that. About when you say Netflix, it's really about looking at Netflix as a gold standard of of technology, of things they do, of how they do it so smartly. There's a lot to learn. So actually, when Netflix launched in India, we were most excited,
So when Netflix launched in India, the next morning your stock went up by 10%. Everyone thought that Balaji's got a new buyer now, and they will be able to share their library with Netflix. So if Netflix approaches Balaji and said, look, we want to showcase your library, will you be open to that idea?
Just to tell you, when you say showcase our library, the thing is that as we speak, we don't have a library.
Okay.
What the TV content we make is owned by the broadcasters.
Okay, that's not owned by you.
That's not owned by Balaji. Okay. What we do own is the movies, and our movies are already on Netflix.
Okay.
So, I mean, to that extent, Netflix, Reliance Jio, Airtel, all the big telecom companies, all the digital platforms will be partners. Everyone will be partners.
This will enable you to probably make a library of sorts also?
Yes, it will. And what we are looking to do is to build a genuine B2C brand. Balaji has always been a B2B business. Now we will aspire to be a B2C business.
Okay. So we'll have seasons maybe very
yes,
soon.
Of course.
No,
in fact, we want to do exactly that. As in, do it in seasons. You see, 15 episodes of something. If you like
GUTV.
you come back, and then go from there.
What about how things have shaped up for Balaji for the quarter gone by? We've talked about everything, but let's take the clock back and talk about what happened for Balaji for the quarter gone by. Content business did well. Content stroke production business. Right. Movie contribution was not there.
Movie contribution, we didn't have a release in the movie business. The content business did very well. All our shows are doing well. It's been one of our best quarters in in many years. But more than just the numbers, actually the big success for the quarter has been the show of ours, Nagin, which comes on Colors. It's the #1 show in India as we speak. It's also, in a small way contributed making Colors the #1 channel among the GACs again after quite a while.
It wasn't before Nagin?
Well, it was, Colors has always been a very close #2, but now, it's done that. So that's a big deal. Wow. And Nagin is a big success for us,
It's a fascinating
because
show.
It comes on the weekend.
Nagin.
No, and also there are other things to it because, currently all of television is daily soaps that go Monday to Friday, Saturday, and now in many channels Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
So in this kind of environment, when something like Nagin comes along, so it's a bi-weekly, it's a 1 hour, and it comes on the weekends.
But your content business, the way structuring is that it's a cost plus business. So if the TRPs are higher, if TRPs are lower, that doesn't change life of
We do get incentivized by the channel, so you get a bonus in that sense. So of course, you don't get the jackpot, which is why, a business like Alt becomes so important, where you build a B2C business, and then when you have success, you can truly...
When will you launch your digital platform? How soon?
We are hoping to do this by the end of Q1 of the next year.
End of Q1? Which means beta platform must be ready.
Oh yes, it's already ready.
Oh yeah, I didn't know this.
Oh yeah.
Secretly you've developed it, markets don't know about it.
We've been working on it actually since last May. And the team's been hired, the platform's already built.
How much you've spent on that?
The platform is being built at this stage, so that's not so expensive.
And you're saying you haven't valued the business yet?
We haven't valued the business because we know there's nothing to value. We want to build it, launch it, and then
Any back of the envelope calculations?
Well, I mean, something is circulating around about Star has done a valuation for Hotstar, so that's pretty fancy.
So that should be the benchmark?
I don't know. I just saw the mail yesterday. Yesterday was our board meeting, so I couldn't go into the details.
How much money you've spent in the digital business?
So far?
Yeah.
Or how much are we planning to spend?
How much you've spent and how much you're planning to spend?
So far we must have spent about not much. We're just building the platform and hiring the people, so it's that kind of cost. Now soon content spend will start. We are looking to spend about 125 crores a year.
Wow. I'll tell you what,
digital business.
I'm looking forward for some real comedy and some thrillers. So hopefully you're working on that. Are you working on something?
Yeah, we are doing exactly that.
Any new movies?
Lots of new movies coming up. So actually we've got a whole slate of movies, what we've been trying to do, that this movie business should sort of, help the TV business. So we've got coming up Urta Punjab, Grand Masti, Azhar, the biopic on Mohammad Azharuddin, A Flying Jet, which is a superhero film with Tiger Shroff, Half Girlfriend, Chetan Bhagat's novel.
So a lot of things.
So a lot of them, lots of movies being developed.
Before we wrap up this interaction, Sameer, one last thing on the numbers as well. It's been a reasonably good quarter on the bottom line front. What about top line? What are the projections?
See, the top line projections for the company operate at 2-3 levels. So one is the standalone TV business. Then there is the consolidated business, which is with the movies. And with the movies is really connected to movies releasing. So if we have movies releasing and they do well, then that gets reflected. So like for example, year before last, we had a very high top line, primarily because of the large number of movies. But the bottom line was not so good. So I think the way we look at it is that, you either look at it standalone or consolidated. From the next year, following year onwards, Alt Digital will also arrive into this. So it will be much smaller. 3-year outlook would be that these three businesses should be about a third each.
Right.
That's the sort of plan.